Steady your nerves, people. Your sleepless nights are about to return. Again.
'Cause he's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all
Paranormal Activity 3, people. That's what we're talking about today. And I know it's kind of incorporated with the Halloween theme, obviously. To me, Paranormal Activity is now becoming the Saw franchise, or any other horror franchise for that matter. I will say this throughout this review. I am not showing the trailer, by the way, because like 90% of that trailer is not even in the film. At this point, I'm still happy with this film. It does explain what happened to the characters Katie and Christy from the first two films. It explains what happens to them as children. They do mention some random little stories and bits about like faint memories that they were terrorized as children by this demon that started out from the first film, and so on. Nothing happens in regards to present day. It's all back in 1988. As far as the story goes of this film, it has the basic Paranormal Activity setup. You got the mom and the new boyfriend, who is the investigator this time around. You got the two children, Katie and Christy, that are young in this case, instead of the grown women that we saw in the first two films. So, with that, everything in crazy hauntingness ensues. And let me tell you, the Bloody Mary shit, creepy. If you guys hate that stuff, in regards to that whole phenomenon of games people play with that, I don't even want to say it again because I'm already terrified. I think my biggest worry is, when is this movie going to jump the shark? I'm really kind of like worried about this franchise. I really am, because it started off with such a simple but truly traumatizing premise. The first film in my book will always be the most awesome one. I really enjoyed it. It freaked me out of my mind. Psychological horror is definitely the best horror, period. And I think it works so well. It frightened audiences. It frightened the shit out of me. And I'm sorry to say that it's going down a very split path right now. So many pointless jump scares. That is what I was afraid of the most. This movie still had that good portion of it, where it has that good thing about it going. It still gets the job done. It still builds up the tension. It makes you just think and think, okay, what the fuck is going to happen? Come on, come on. You know, you're by now, if you've seen the first two films, you're already looking at the screen every which way, just like, okay, is something happening over there in that corner, you know, it's just, it makes you think a lot. It really does. It still has that tension from the first two films, but the problem is, it does too many of that jump scare shit. For the most part, it does leave you wanting to know what's going to happen from here on out. I think this is what's gonna hurt this franchise a lot. Is that little by little, it's going to be like the Saw franchise. You realize it's a giant intertwining story, and then little by little you figure out what's going to happen in the end and why things happen. I think with this movie, I think it was better to leave things shrouded in mystery. Because if you don't know, that leaves for you to think about it. That leaves for you to have it all in your imagination. It's up to you to make it what it is. If it's something completely creepy and disturbing, way more than anybody can put on film, that's your imagination. That's what makes you really afraid of these movies. And that's what the first one did so well. The second one did it good too, but this one, it just leaves the door wide open for yet another film. And I kind of want to know, and at the same time I don't. It did freak me out. It's still creepy. It's still good. It's still a fun time at the movies. All my friends enjoyed it for what it is. But it leaves you with wanting to know more, as well as more confusion in a way. Because it leaves you with those unanswered questions. Kind of like the way, again, referring to the Saw franchise. This is the sequel that is part of the filler story. It needs to fill in that plot for you. So again, the biggest negatives are, it does a 180 on the ending, and it's a filler story, kind of sequel. My final thoughts on this franchise so far. First one, warped my fragile little mind. It just really, I lost sleep for a week. I was terrified, and I enjoyed the hell out of this film. It was a game changer for that home video horror genre. This was equally as good, Paranormal Activity 2. Have no complaints, it continued the story great. This one, I am split. I liked it because it was still done like a Paranormal Activity movie, but the ending was a complete 180, and it was more story versus the creepy stuff that we've come to like so far of these films. Overall, guys, you know, it's a fun film. I still say see it for Halloween, see it with your friends, date, whoever. It's going to be an awesome time regardless, besides the negatives. Comment below to say what you thought about the film, and of course, feel free to click like. That's always a plus. Feel free to subscribe, and of course, keep going to the movies.